This game is a sci-fi flow state FPS with shotguns and cyber whales. It's called Metal Eden. It's a cool and extremely bizarre fast-paced wall-running shooter set on a distant terraforming colony in a future where the minds of the human race have been uploaded to tiny computers called cores, and as a combat android using forbidden phantom technology, it's your job to protect them. It's like the most anime plot I've ever heard, and the game visuals actually feel very anime inspired. The art style, the creepy cyborg characters, the dark dystopian vibes of a future where nobody seems particularly happy. Although I was quite happy as I got tons of cool sci-fi guns and different abilities to blast through the enemies of this private military force that is defending this terraforming colony. Now, I'd like to give a big thank you to Deep Silver for sponsoring this video and hooking me up with an early key for the game. Metal Eden just launched on Steam, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series X. Check out the link in the video description if you want to learn more about the game. Now, Metal Eden is made by Raycon Games, a studio that's made one other game before, but it wasn't an FPS. So this is their first-person shooter, but you wouldn't guess it by looking at the game because it looks stunning. The graphics, gameplay, and flow feel like they're from a studio that's been making FPS games for a while. Under the hood, Unreal Engine 5 powers some impressive and shiny visuals for the linear but also very large levels. I'm sure this game has to do some pretty clever design tricks as the levels are truly massive due to the speed at which you can actually run through them. Your base speed, that's without hitting the sprint button, is already like an all-out sprint, which you can make even faster by doing wall runs, dodges, using your grappling hook, jumping off of jump pads, using all the zipline jump sequences built into the levels. It's sort of a runner/shooter game, and the pacing is just an absolute blast. Also, you can transform into a ball for certain parts of levels that allow you to basically roll through it at super speeds instead of run through it at super speed. You spend very little time in this game sitting still. In fact, that's basically the point. I slapped the difficulty up to hard, jumped in, and was killed right away trying to play this like a standard shooter. You stand still for even a few seconds and you're gonna melt to all the enemies. Kindly, this game teaches you that important lesson very quickly. The gameplay largely revolves around dodging, learning arena layouts to figure out pickup routes, and comboing your abilities at the right times to take down your enemies like a badass cyber ninja. And actually, the arena-like nature of the big boss areas or resistance areas is very much a throwback to how I played classic arena shooters, where you spend a lot of time figuring out the optimal paths around maps that allow you to get the best pickups before your opponents do. And while in Metal Eden, you're not necessarily competing with the enemies for those pickups, you do need to keep collecting them periodically throughout a fight to keep your ammo and health topped off. The pickups do respawn, so instead of being totally reliant on, say, killing your enemies to get their resources, you can actually just parkour your way around the map, being as nimble and dodgy as possible, and finding the routes and repeating the routes is actually really enjoyable. And what's interesting is the skill tree points can actually cater more towards this arena style gameplay if you want them to. For example, you can actually reduce the in-world recharge time on item spawners to help you get your pickups faster in a fight. Alternatively, you can also invest in skills that allow you to get ammo and health from killing enemies if you would prefer to go that route. And it's even got some flexibility in there where you can start to mix two of the concepts together depending on what you prefer. Now, as far as I can tell, you can't respec your skill choices for a save game, and so the skills you choose definitely are going to have a big effect on how you would approach any fight. So for a second playthrough, I could absolutely imagine playing the game pretty differently. Now, one of the core components of combat is, well, they're called cores. Basically, the devices that house the digital soul of the cybernetic creatures you fight. When an enemy runs out of armor, you can rip the core from them and either throw it towards another enemy, causing an explosion that can trigger all kinds of combos and other abilities, or you can consume the core and become more powerful with super powerful melee combat and faster movement attacks for a short period of time. And both of these paths can be aided with different skill sets that allow them to combo with with other abilities and guns. The game gives you a decent amount of agency here, though it's still all very movement heavy no matter which path you take. Either you're ripping cores out of guys and throwing them at them to make them explode, or you're ripping cores out of guys, consuming them, and then punching things to make them explode. And then comboing those abilities with a pretty decent array of weapons, which also have their own upgrade trees. And when it works right, you basically enter a combat flow state. The arena keeps pumping out the enemies and you keep comboing them down. Though as you progress and the waves of enemies get more and more intense, you'll be forced to cycle through a lot of your weapons as you chew through the ammo reserves of each one of them. So unless you spec your build to be really ammo heavy, you probably won't be able to get too comfortable with a single play style the whole way through. Now, for the most part, the levels are very large but linear. However, they do reward exploration as well. Looking behind boxes or down a hallway off to the side will often reveal rewards like weapon upgrade points and extra lives. Though the designers seem to be keenly aware of not making you trek too far for these bonuses and instead keep most of the hidden loot fairly accessible so you can get back on track quickly. The pacing of this game seems to be a top priority from start to finish, as I spent very little time not fighting enemies, which is perfect for me. Now this of course is just my opinion, but when I'm playing a fast-paced shooter, I don't want to be taken off track to do a bunch of exploration puzzles. I want to just keep up that fast pacing, and Metal Eden seems to have achieved that with these kind of impressively huge levels that provide enough ground for you to cover and keep moving at this breakneck pace. Now, I haven't beaten the game yet, so I can't give you my impressions on the entire experience, but what I have gleaned from the story is really fun. It's, again, extremely bizarre in a good way, and there's a ton of voice acting from engineers that you interact with along the way. They kind of keep you company in between firefights while you're parkouring across the landscape, talking to you on comms, filling you in on the backstory, and making you second guess your allegiances or even purpose as a character.
Your interface. It's not core-based, is it?
Not many know this, but suppose I can tell you I am an entity born within a sea of information.
So, you're a router?
No, you and your engineers can mock me all you want, but when the shit hits the fan, you'll come back running to the good old operator.
And that's about as far as I think I can get into the narrative without giving away any spoilers, but I am eager to get back to it. The progression and gameplay is really addicting. It's fast the whole way through, and each new skill point you get can potentially unlock new ways of playing. One skill point might let you swap out some of your stamina for a slow-mo ability, while another skill point might let you recharge your armor every time you consume a core. I'm already trying to theory craft different ways of creating a build in this game. You get grenades that can freeze enemies, and then you get abilities that can recharge your grenades, and then you get abilities that can stack on top of those recharge abilities. So there's all kinds of cool combos and directions that you can take with it, and it's a fairly simple user interface that doesn't require you to look through some sort of overly complex skill tree. Now again, if you're interested in Metal Eden, check out the link in the video description. The game is out now. There's also a demo of the game too, which is cool. I love it when developers do that, let you try before you buy. If you enjoyed this overview video, don't forget to drop me a like, subscribe for more content like it, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Level Cap signing off.